everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Kirstin and I am an artist and the owner of Title and Timber Studio, and today we're going to be doing a linocut print of the thimbleberry plant. So if you watch the Sleeping Giant Hike and Paint with me video, I'll just link it right here if you're interested. So if you watch that, I did include a little snippet of the thimbleberry plant that inspired the print that we're going to do today. Today we're going to go through the process of picking a subject, sketching it out, then carving it out, and then finally doing the really fun process of printing it, which is always so exciting because you never know how it's going to turn out. So yeah, that's what today's video is all about. So I really want to say thank you for being here. This really means the world to me. I never thought I would start a YouTube channel, so this is kind of a big deal for me. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in this kind of content. Anything that you'd love to see, please let me know. Okay, thank you so much. So after getting all my reference photos, I did the sketch on my iPad where I have a little bit more control and freedom over playing around with the composition. I'm really liking how this turned out with the flowers kind of in the middle and the three leaves. I think it's pretty balanced. So this transfer style is just tracing the image onto a transfer paper, and then you essentially just put the transfer paper onto the block. So this is actually one of my least favorite things when doing any kind of linocut prints, just because it's a bit time consuming, but it is what it is. So here I'm just transferring the image from the transfer paper onto the block before I start carving. And when I'm doing the first cut, I usually start on kind of those bigger areas where I don't have to do those minute details. So I just starting right here, and the first cut always gets me excited. This is one of my most favorite parts of doing any kind of block printing. So the carving piece, it's just really relaxing. I usually have a YouTube video on in the background, or a podcast, or audiobooks. Audiobooks I recently got really into. I'm just currently don't have a book that I'm listening to, so I tend to re-listen to ones that I really like. So the thimbleberry plant has a pretty wide range, home range in Canada. It's found on kind of the west coast of Canada and all the way east until kind of the Great Lakes area. It's more of an understory species. It kind of likes open areas, as you saw from the video before, and also the image here. It has really big leaves compared to like the flowers and stuff, so it needs lots of sun. It also has these beautiful white flowers, and when I saw them, they were blooming kind of end of June, beginning of July time, and then they turn into a berry, and some say it kind of resembles a raspberry and kind of tastes like a sweet raspberry. There's a lot of value to this plant in terms of, wildlife value, and the bees really love the nectar from the flowers. It's a high nectar flower, so the native bees just love it. You'll see here that I'm switching to kind of my bigger tool, get those bigger chunks off. I find this part really satisfying. You can get those large pieces off kind of near the end and get the border there. Another really satisfying part is this piece where you get to cut out those big chunks. Some people will essentially just carve out those large chunks, but I find ink gets very messy and then it just takes more time. So I just carve them out with the X-Acto knife and then use another tool to kind of get those finer details. But I really like this part. It's kind of like that final piece before you start inking. All right, she's all done. She's all cleaned up, and there she is, the final product before we start inking. And with every 8x10 print, I usually have to trim my paper. I really like having a textured paper, and there's just a brand that I use. It doesn't come in 8x10, so I just trim the edges there. It's kind of tedious, but again, I usually have an audiobook or podcast or something going on in the background, and I try to do it when I have some spare time. Yeah, it's kind of relaxing. I really like the sound of the paper trimmer sliding across the paper. And you'll see it does create a little bit of waste, but I have been saving all my scrap paper kind of put aside for the past like 8 months or so, and I'm hoping to try and make my own homemade paper at some point. It's something I've been really interested in and I really want to try it. So I have like a huge bag of scrap paper right now that I am excited to start using to make homemade paper at some point. So I'm thinking of a green, but the green that I have is phthalo green, and I kind of would like to do a little bit darker. So I'm gonna try it with the Parisian blue, but we'll see. I have black as well, but I don't usually like mixing with black. It just devalues the color so much, but we'll kind of see how this goes. I kind of wanted to add a little bit more depth to the color. Okay, so we got the green down. Now put the blue down. And these are the Cranfield Caligo Safe Wash Relief inks. So they are oil-based, which comes with just some extra steps, but in terms of color and like vibrancy, this is what I like working with. So that's what I've been using for a while now, and I've been really enjoying it. It was a little bit of a learning curve though, I will say that. Been using this plastic palette knife just because I got it dirty once, and then I'm like, oh, I'll just make it my dedicated palette knife, but I don't love it. And then I also use this, what is it? It's like a printing ink modifier, so it's an oil that kind of thins and dilutes it. And this was the game changer for me. It helps with drying it faster. I'm just going to grab another palette knife. It really helps with the drying process, and also this ink is pretty thick when you first start using it. So it just thins it out a little bit. Your ink will go a little bit further, and you can play with the consistency, which is nice, so you can kind of customize it. So let's see here. Let's switch to a metal one. I'll add in a tiny bit of yellow just to see. And these are all the same brands and type of ink, so that's why I can mix them. I have been, usually I just use whatever color comes, but I don't know why. I haven't been loving the phthalo green. And then the only other green I have is like a sage green, which I don't think is going to look great with the thimbleberry. So we're just going to play with some colors. Ooh, okay, I like that. Yeah, that's good. Just needed a touch of yellow. It's almost kind of emeraldy now. I don't have great light in this room, the studio room, which is unfortunate, but I gotta work with what I got. Okay, I like that. I might do a touch more yellow though, just to play around with it. And I know any artist will see this glass and know that it's not the proper tempered glass that it should be using, but again, I'm working with what I currently have. I do want to get a tempered glass though. This was just kind of testing it out, and I had an old picture frame, so I decided to use it, but it's not very safe and it's not great, but it's what I currently have. Really like this color. I just have to remember, so one of the other reasons I haven't been playing with different colors when it comes to ink is I have a really bad habit of not remembering what I do project to project, because I tend to skip around different projects. So luckily this is on video, so I can actually just watch this back. So my next step is going to be to make a registration. So we're doing an 8x10 print with these. I was playing around with the idea of doing a 9x12, and maybe I will in the future, but I thought it would look good as 8x10. So I'm just marking where the page will lay down. Okay, so we got that. And then I just try to line it up best I can with how I think I want it to be. Make sure it's centered. I think that's pretty good. And then I usually do this and then I regret doing it because I don't actually like the way that the first print comes out, but I'll just scribble it away. It's not too big of a deal. As usually you have to make adjustments. This is exciting. This is my first new print in probably 3 months. I did carve another one, but I did something else with it. I didn't do a print with it yet. So this is my first one in a while. I kind of burned myself out a little bit, so just during the spring. So I took a little bit of time off, but now I'm finally feeling a little bit more rejuvenated. So first one is usually kind of a tester, just like the first pancake. When you're making pancakes, it doesn't always turn out, but we'll see how it goes. So I think that's looking pretty good. So line it up so that the textured side is down, and you just line it up with these lines. It's always a bit nerve-wracking, like committing to like putting it down. Oh, I felt that one go off. Yeah, first pancake. What are you gonna do? And then I feel very lucky to have some sort of press. It makes it so much easier. So I just slide this on here. And here. Yeah, you just press down. Easy peasy. And then this is a really fun part. Is just taking your first piece out and seeing how it turned out. Oh my gosh, okay, that turned out even better than I thought. I'm really happy with this. I really like that. I really like that green. There's a little bit of, I can see some transfer issues, so I'll just make sure. Sometimes every plate's a little bit different, so sometimes the ink doesn't transfer properly, but yeah, I'm actually super excited about that. This is the thimbleberry print. That's exciting. Okay, I feel like, I don't know, I was getting a little not interested in printmaking, and I feel like that just brought that like passion back for it. Like, such a good feeling. So I don't think I'm gonna move it at all. I think I like it the way it is. So we'll do another one. Thank you so much for being here and celebrating the thimbleberry plant with me. I hope you enjoyed it.